What is CRM? Customer Relationship Management. CRM is basically a tool that a company uses to maintain the customer related information, right? And in the recent times, we have seen that the CRM is being used a lot by the companies. Now, the scenario earlier was different. Earlier, the companies used to have CRM for maintaining the phone number, email IDs, this kind of information. Very, minimum amount of information was there. Now the requirement for CRM has increased for a company. Okay. Nowadays, the companies are not just interested in storing the phone number and email ID, they are interested in storing a lot more information than what they were doing earlier. Right? The companies want to store the phone numbers, the contact details, the preferences, what the customer wants to buy, when does he plan to buy, what is his buying capacity, what is his buying trend. So the companies want to kind of track almost everything. Okay. Now that's what CRM has become nowadays. Now, if you talk about a sales cycle which takes a pretty longer duration, let's say a B2B sales where the decision making takes a bit of time. See, whenever there is a sale happening, some sales are like instant sales, and some sales are the ones where decision making takes a bit of time and there are multiple people involved in the decision making, right? So in that case, it also becomes important for these companies to track the status of that particular sale, that okay, what status we are in, how are we going, and also to make sure that all the people who are involved in that particular decision making, they are in touch with these people, they have the contact information of all those people, right? If there are five people, let's say I'm running a company and I'm selling let's say laptops, and now I'm planning to sell it to a company, IBM, and I know that IBM is willing to buy, let's say 500 laptops from me, but there are five people who are the decision makers. One can be the procurement guy, the other can be the IT guy, the other can be the guy from the operations team. Now, the moment I know that there are, kind of five people that I'll have to deal with, then basically what will happen? It's good for me to have information about all these people. So in a way, I need to have the information about the company, the primary point of contact, but I also need to have information about the other decision makers if possible. Okay. So overall, the requirement of the data which is being stored in the CRM has increased, right? So it's increasing. And apart from that, apart from this requirement, we also see that because there is so much of data which is being stored, and definitely there is not one person or there is not a small team which deals with all this data. Fine. Now it has also become a matter of collaboration for any company also to handle their CRM. It's not just the sales guy who is interacting with the customer. There is a customer support team, there is an account manager assigned to every client, then there is a pre-sales rep, then there is a sales rep. So in your company also you have a small team which is managing a client. Correct. So a bit of collaboration is required there as well, right? Now, when we are talking about this collaboration team here, sometimes it may happen, which you will find very common, that there can be a company, there can be a company which has its sales rep or the sales executive sitting in US, and their customer support teams might be somewhere, let's say some place in India, right? So there can be a company which has the sales executive sitting in US, pre-sales rep and the customer support executive might be sitting in somewhere in India, right? So I mean, just this is just an example. So there are a lot of other situations like this where the collaboration is needed more for one single deal to be closed, where the data information needs to be stored in such a way that it is updated real time so that everyone can see what is the status of the data. Um, so for those requirements, Nowadays, companies expect a lot from CRM. It's not just the old CRM concept that where you just need to store the phone numbers and email IDs and you can do it in a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet or in a Microsoft Access. No, doesn't work that way. Fine. So one, the requirement for the data is getting, it's increasing day by day. Second, the requirement for collaboration and real-time updates is also increasing day by day. So what you need at this point of time, if you're looking for CRM, you need two things. One, you need a very good software which allows you to store data and manage things properly. Second, you need something which is on cloud. You need a CRM which stores the data on the cloud. All the data and all the information which is being stored, that should be on the cloud. What is on the cloud? Okay, so there are two things which I need good functionalities from the CRM software that I'm using, and I need to make sure that the CRM which I'm using stores all the data on the cloud. Now let's understand what is the cloud thing. Okay, so what is cloud computing? We must have been hearing a lot about cloud computing here and there, that cloud computing. Now, what exactly cloud computing is? Is it a software, hardware? Is it a technology? What exactly it is? Cloud computing basically is a concept. So there is no software called cloud computing. There is no hardware called cloud computing. It is basically just a concept. It's just a practice. What practice? The practice of using network of remote servers hosted on the internet. Okay. So the network of the remote servers which are hosted on the internet, the servers which can be accessed through internet to store, manage and process data rather than a local server or a personal computer. So the concept or the process of putting the data um, on a remote server which can be accessed through internet. So instead of putting my data in my computer or putting my data in a server which is um, hosted in my physical location or the local server, you put the data on a server which is hosted on the internet. If you want to see some real-time example around you, think something like Gmail. So what is happening with Gmail? All your data information is actually on the Gmail server, which is accessible through internet, which is hosted on internet, right? If you are accessing Facebook every day, where is all that information getting stored? You are putting your photographs, status updates, commenting, liking, all that is being tracked. Where is all that getting stored? Facebook server. Okay. So this kind of a server is said to be on the cloud, right? Because this process is or this practice is called cloud computing. That's the reason why this kind of a server where the data is stored in a server which is hosted on internet is cloud based server. Okay. Now the companies require these things from CRM. They need a CRM which can be which will have the functionalities, and secondly which will store the data or information on the cloud based server, right? Okay. Okay. Now, when we are talking again, just going back to the cloud computing concept once again, I'll come back to the Salesforce CRM thing. This cloud computing is not just meant for the database server. So this was just one example to explain it to you. But cloud computing can be this concept can be applicable on softwares. It can be applicable on hardwares as well. Okay, so server is one part of the hardware thing. But for software also the same thing applies. So for software also the same thing applies, exactly the same thing. So what happens in case of a software? In case of software, you don't need to install the software on your system. You will have the software accessible through internet. So the software is installed somewhere else. You are just accessing it through internet. So this, what happens with us on Facebook and Gmail again. Did you ever install the Gmail software to access Gmail? No. You just have to go to the website and log in into your Gmail account. That's it. and that software opens up for you. The application, Gmail application opens up for you. The same way Facebook, you just have to go ahead and log in. So that web-based applications, which we call, they are mostly our software as a service. All right, and this so we have the software as a service. The softwares which we do not need to install, we call them as software as a service. So we are using the software as a service. We are not installing it. Then we have the infrastructure as a service, or the hardware as a service. So we are not building the hardware or the infrastructure on our own. We are utilizing something which is hosted on the internet again. Same way we have platform as a service. What is a platform as a service? Platform as a service is a platform which is again hosted on internet, which you can utilize to uh, build an application. Okay, so all the web servers and the development tools which are again hosted on the internet are the platform as a service. Right. Now, Salesforce in a way provides us a combination of all these three things. It gives us a software for our CRM. It gives us a platform to develop more applications, and it gives us the infrastructure to store our data. Okay. If you are not able to understand why I'm saying this, just wait for a few more minutes. You will understand it. We'll just go get into talking about Salesforce, and then again I'll come back to this point. All right. So anyone has a question or doubt so far till here? We just talked about CRM, the basics of CRM, and we have talked about what exactly cloud computing is. Very good here. Okay. Now, why are we talking about CRM and cloud computing? When we are supposed to start discussing about Salesforce. The reason is that Salesforce is now world's #1 CRM, which has its data stored on the cloud. Okay, so it's basically you call it a cloud-based server, a cloud-based server, and they have the software for the CRM also, and the server that they have is a cloud-based server, and this is in today's date it's world's #1 CRM, the most popular CRM in the world. All right. So what exactly Salesforce has? Salesforce has the Salesforce applications. Okay. So when you actually approach Salesforce, what do you get? You get the Salesforce application, which includes the front end for you to access, plus the server where you can store the database, plus a force.com platform where you can build your own apps. Platform as a service, I told you about this. So Salesforce gives you a software as a service which your sales team or the customer support team can use to manage the data of the customers. It gives you the server space where the data of your customers is actually going to get stored, and it also gives you a platform where you can kind of build your own customized apps. In case you are not satisfied with the app which Salesforce.com has given you, you have the option of customizing your own apps with the help of um, the force.com platform. We call it force.com platform. This is basically the platform for you to build the apps. All right, so that is the thing. Now let's understand how the flow would work for a company. Okay, so let's say there is a company called ABC. Okay, let's understand how we are actually going to drill down into the Salesforce thing, and how we are going to understand how to set up Salesforce for us and what is the best way, which one should we use and all. Let's say there's a company called ABC Limited. Okay, now this ABC Limited is primarily into say okay, let's say this company is into selling laptops. So now this company is into selling laptops. They will have customers, And they also will have prospects. Prospects means people who are potential customers, who can buy, who have inquired, who have raised an inquiry that, hey, you know what, we have requirement of laptops. Or the people or the companies who have purchased earlier, and they can go ahead and buy once again, because maybe because the earlier ones that they have bought, they have come to those ones have come to expiry or something like that. So basically, you know, if I talk about ABC Limited, which sells certain laptops, it will have its customers and prospects, which means in a way it needs a CRM. Most of the companies need a CRM. Actually, every company requires a CRM, but the point is every company will not have an application, a CRM application being used. All right. Some companies manage with, again, as I said, some companies will be able to manage with a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet or just a notebook. Think about small businesses who, they will have everything managed in a notebook. They'll keep on writing everything. But, okay size of businesses need a CRM. Okay. And a CRM, again, as I said, it's a lot more than just storing information. It should be able to do a lot of other things. So as we proceed in our sessions, you will see how CRM is, so useful for businesses, how it can actually help businesses uh, reduce a lot of manual work and all that stuff. All right. Okay. So we are talking about the CRM thing for ABC Limited. So ABC Limited decides that we are going to use a CRM. All right. So if ABC Limited decides that they don't want to use a CRM, then that is basically the end of the story. But let's say ABC Limited says that we want to use a CRM. Okay. Now when they decide to use a CRM, they have two options. Either they can pick a CRM which has a cloud-based server, okay, a CRM which is a cloud-based server, or they can use a CRM with a local server. All right. So a local server CRM versus a cloud-based server CRM. This is again a decision for the company to make. All right. Now the company will have to decide which one they would prefer to go with. Local server is where you will have to set up a server within your company. The data that you want to put will be stored in that local server. This server is going to be accessible only from your uh, location. Okay, so this local server, if you set up a local server, it will be connected to the computers through a local area network LAN cable, and it will be accessible only in your location. It will not be accessible in any other location, right? Whereas a cloud-based server is something which can be accessed through internet. So you will be able to access anytime from anywhere through internet, right? And this cloud-based server is going to be a SaaS model. It will be connected through a SaaS model. SaaS model means a software as a service. So the problem with the software as a service is that you have to pay, a certain amount on a monthly basis. So some companies do not want to do that. They just feel that if they are able to set up a local server, then they will not have to. They feel that if they set up a local server, then they will not have to pay for every month as a subscription fee. Okay, so that's the only thought process which goes in the mind that, okay, if I go with a cloud-based server, then what will happen? I'll have to continue paying for each user every month, right? Because it's a software as a service, right? So software as a service means you will depend on the login ID password every time. When you depend on the login ID password, uh, the service provider is gonna charge you certain subscription every month. The moment you stop paying the subscription fee, they will stop your login access. You'll not be able to log in or access it. Fine. So now cloud-based server advantages we just talked about. What advantages the cloud-based server has. So let's say this company decides on the cloud-based server. So they decide on going with a CRM which is hosted on the cloud server. Now, The next question that comes into mind is, out of the cloud-based server CRMs, which one to go for? Again, there are so many of them. Which one to go for? That's the next question. So, which one to go for is again a crucial question, right? There are so many in the market. Microsoft has one, Microsoft Dynamics. There is Oracle in demand, Oracle CRM on demand. Then there is the Sugar CRM. There is Zoho. These are small players, obviously, but still. And then there is Salesforce. Okay. So the primary concept of all these CRMs is pretty similar. They are all hosted on cloud-based server. They have the software as a service model. But Salesforce somehow is very popular, maybe because the ease of use is there. The end users find it very easy to use it. Functionality wise, it's something where there is a lot of functionalities. There are a lot of functionalities which are available in Salesforce CRM, and also because of the customization abilities. So Salesforce gives you ease of use, a lot of functionalities, a proper CRM with from end to end. A lot of things are managed and maintained in a very nice way. And the next thing is that Salesforce has the ability to be customized to any extent. You can connect it with any other application. You can actually customize it to the extent that you want. So all these things can be done in Salesforce. So for these reasons, Salesforce is, again, as I was just saying, that it's the first choice for companies who are looking for a cloud-based server CRM, a CRM with a cloud-based server. So now the company, let's say, decides on, drills down on Salesforce. Now what is the next thing? Finally, this company wanted a CRM, wanted a cloud-based server concept, CRM. Okay, decided on Salesforce, finalized. Now, what's the next thing that they are going to do? The next thing that the company will have to do is they'll have to figure out, because it's again a software as a service model, which means you have to buy the licenses for people who need to use who need to use Salesforce, right? So it's pretty simple. You have to decide how many people are going to use your in your company, how many people are going to use Salesforce. You will need to approach salesforce.com and you'll have to buy the same number of licenses. Okay, correct. So exactly the number of people who are going to access your Salesforce CRM, you just have to go ahead and buy that particular number of licenses for them. Every user will get a login ID password. They will use their login ID password, and they will have the access to the Salesforce account through their login ID password. So if I have 10 people who are working in the sales team, I'll have to approach salesforce.com for buying 10 licenses. So it's not that, okay, fine, I'll buy Salesforce and now I can start using it for 100 people, 200 people. You will have to get a count of how many people are going to use, and then you will approach salesforce.com and they will prepare an invoice. They will charge you for it, and based on that, based on the what requirement you have given, they're going to build an invoice. They're going to charge you. You make the payment and they give you the login access. That's it. And it all can be managed in a matter of an hour or so. So you approach salesforce.com, they send you the invoice, you just have to make the payment and your login starts working, right? So if you talk about a local server CRM, then it might take a few months for the company to set up the server itself. But with Salesforce, you are just able to start it instantly, right? Okay. Now, so you decide on number of users, and then you approach salesforce.com for the licenses that you need. The next question that comes into mind is, how are they going to charge and how much are they going to charge us, right? So if this company actually approaches salesforce.com to buy certain licenses, how much are they going to charge? And is there a, are there different types of licenses, or is it just the same kind of license everyone will have to buy? So the answer is that there are different types of licenses, or we call them editions. So when you approach Salesforce.com saying that, hey, you know what, I need 10 licenses, they are going to ask you which edition do you want. All right. So the next question that they are going to ask is, which edition do you want? So for this, for example, if you go to a car showroom and you say that, hey, you know what, I need a car. So they will definitely ask you which particular model you are looking for, right? So the same way, when you approach Salesforce.com and say that I need licenses, they are going to ask you which edition you want. So editions are basically, um, you know, different editions have different set of functionalities, right? So Salesforce has a few editions, and for getting the information on the editions, we just have to go to salesforce.com. You don't go to salesforce.com now. Currently, you can just be looking into my screen. I will show you. Hello. Yeah. So here we are. So if you go to the salesforce.com website, you can do it later on also. Right now, we just can look into my screen. In salesforce.com, if you look into products and pricing, you will find the different editions that they have. See, group edition, professional edition, enterprise edition, unlimited edition, and if you see the pricing also, $25 per user per month, $65 per user per month, $125 per user per month. So if enterprise edition uh, costs you $125 per user per month, and if the group edition costs you $25 per user per month, definitely the enterprise edition has more features and functionalities as compared to the group edition, right? So what all functionalities are available with each edition? That's pretty much listed here. Okay. Uh, so let's say in a group edition, you will be able to manage accounts, contacts, opportunities, leads, tasks, all these things. Here you will be able to manage the campaigns as well, in addition to whatever you get in group edition. See, get all features of group edition plus these features. Mass mailing is available. With a professional edition, you, in addition to all the features that you get here, you are able to get more features in terms of workflow and approval of automation, report history tracking, enterprise territory management, a lot of things, right? Then unlimited edition, which gives you unlimited customization and all that stuff. So you will be able to understand these features a little more as and when we are doing the topics in the session. But right now, just for your understanding, that there are different editions which are available, and this is the page where you can find the details of different editions. Now, number of users you already have defined. You thought that okay, 10. Next thing that you'll have to decide is which edition you think you need, right? So the company will decide on the edition based on two things: based on its budget, based on its requirement. Okay. If the company wants to do workflows and approvals, then they have to go with this edition, right? If they want to track report history, then they'll have to go with this edition. If they want to do campaign, then the minimum that they need is a professional edition, which is going to be $65. So you'll have to decide what level of functionalities you need in your company. Every company might not require all the functionalities. Okay. Some businesses and some business processes are very simple, and they just might need the basic functionalities, right? So for that, they might go ahead with a group edition, or they might go ahead with a professional edition. Some companies require the automations and the report history tracking and all that stuff, then they might need to go ahead and use the enterprise edition. All right, and this all pricing that you see is a per user per month pricing. So if you have decided on 10 users and based on the requirement of the company decides that okay, we need let's say enterprise edition. So Salesforce is gonna create a bill of 12 into 10 into 125. Okay, and this is what they are gonna send you an invoice for. So they will bill you for 1 year for 10 users for enterprise edition, and then you will have 10 licenses straight away. The moment you make this payment, you will have 10 licenses or 10 login ID password. Your end users can use those login ID passwords to access Salesforce.com. Fine. Does that make sense? Are we clear so far? So we have understood what is CRM, what is cloud computing, what is Salesforce. We have also talked about Salesforce being a little more popular as compared to the other competitors in the market. And then how does the addition thing work? So what is the basic concept of the addition thing? We have talked about that also, right? Just give me one quick second. Hello. Yeah. All right. So that's about the addition thing. So we have understood till this level that okay, what is Salesforce and what are the different editions that Salesforce.com has. All right. Now, if you see, now the next question comes into mind, at this point of time, that which edition are we going to use for learning it, right? And how will we have access to learn it? Because when we want to learn it, we need an access. We need to create a login ID password for ourselves, right? So apart from all these editions that you get to see for each edition, good thing for Salesforce is for each edition they have given a free trial. Okay, so but we are not going to use any of these free trials for the training thing. We are going to use a different edition for our training. Okay, for our learning. See, if you are planning to buy an edition, why they have given these free trials? Because let's say as a company, if you decided that I'm going to go with a professional edition, right? You might want to try it first before you actually make a decision and then make the payment. You might want to try it first. So these free trials are good for people who are willing to buy a particular edition and they just want to try it for a week or 15 days or for a month. Okay, I guess this group edition trial is for 15 days or so. Professional enterprise unlimited are for 30 days. So you will just get a trial for 30 days and you can use these editions. All right. Now we are going to use a different edition for our learning, which is called the developer edition. Okay. So this developer edition in particular is not going to expire. Good thing is your developer edition is not a 30 days thing. You will be able to use it after 30 days also. All right. This developer edition functionality wise is pretty similar to the enterprise edition that you see here. It's very similar to the enterprise edition functionality wise. All right. And so it's pretty similar to it's pretty similar to the enterprise edition as far as the functionalities are concerned. It does not expire, so it's a lifetime kind of access for you. Okay, and you can have up to 2 users in your developer edition. Okay, so you can have up to 2 users set up in your developer edition. So that's about the developer edition that we are gonna use, right? How will you set up the developer edition? How do you get the developer edition? All that you have to do is you just have to go to developer.salesforce.com. Okay, I'll put this URL in the chat window. Post this session, I want you guys to uh, go ahead and set up your developer orgs. Okay, don't do it right now. Just after this session, you guys can do it. So you all that you have to do is you just have to go to developer.salesforce.com and then you'll have to click on the sign up button. Once you click on the sign up button, you will be able to enter all your details there. Uh, Make sure that the username that you're putting has to be in the email ID format. Okay, the username that you are putting has to be in email ID format. So ideally, the email that you put here, the one that you want to use for it, and the username should be same. Ideally your email and username should be same, but if you find sometimes it may happen that you might have tried using your email ID sometime earlier for creating an edition, you are not able to create the username with the same email ID because it will start showing it as duplicate in case some of you have used it earlier. In that case, your username can be slightly different from your email ID. So if your email ID is email at xyz.com, and if there's something which you have already used in the username, you can just tweak it a little. You can just make it email at xyz.com 1. So just make some small change so that it is not considering it as a unique thing. Okay, your email ID has to be the correct email ID. The username just has to be in the form of an email ID. It does not have to be a valid correct email ID. So you can tweak it a little to get a unique username if that username does not exist for some reason. All right. So once you say, put all this information, and then the moment you click on sign me up and all that thing, then it will take you to sorry, it will send a link to your email ID. The email ID that you enter here, you will receive a link. You will have to click on that link to set up your password. Once you have set up your password, after that you just need to go to salesforce.com. For creating the login, you need to go to developer.salesforce.com. Once you have set up the password and everything, you just need to go to salesforce.com, and then you should click on your login, and you will have to put your username and password here. Whatever username and password you want to you get, just put it here. I have one username and password currently available, so I'll just enter that, and you will be able to log in into Salesforce, and this is how it's going to look. Yeah, so this is how it's going to look. Get it?
Yes.
Now this is the environment. This is the software. Once we are logged in into it, everything that we're gonna do and everything that we're gonna learn, everything will happen on this particular environment. This is the application where everything will be done. starting from the basic end user activities to the admin activities, the reporting, developing things. Everything is going to happen on this environment. All right. So you don't need to install any other software or anything apart from that. All that you need is just a login ID password. So the same thing applies for the company. Now let's come back to the ABC Limited story. So when the ABC Limited buys these 10 licenses, they get these 10 login ID passwords. In fact, they get one login ID password created by Salesforce, and
mm,
the other 9 login ID passwords can be created by the company themselves. So, for example, we are a company. Now we approached Salesforce.com. So Salesforce created one login ID password for me. Now I will have the access to go ahead and create more users. So I can use this environment to create more users. So time to time I'll keep on creating the users, freezing the users in case someone has left the company. I'll freeze that user, and then I'll create one more and transfer the license. So I'll then keep on managing, or someone in the company will keep on managing all these things now. So for every user creation, you don't have to approach Salesforce.com. And this is again something which we are going to definitely do in the training itself, right? So now the licenses that they have purchased includes licenses of the end users, and it also includes the developers, and it also includes the administrators. So people who are going to manage, they will also need the license. People who are going to develop, they need the licenses. The people who are going to do the testing, they also need licenses, and the end users, obviously, they are also going to need the licenses. Correct. So overall, you just have to decide that, okay, I have developers and I have the people in the testing team, then I have the administrators, I have a reporting analyst, I have customer support executives, and I have salespeople. So how many licenses you need in total? You'll just decide on that, and then we will approach Salesforce.com for that. All right. Now, so that's about the addition concept. The next concept that I want you to understand is a Salesforce license. Okay. There's a small thing that we need to understand. See, go to the Salesforce pricing and addition thing, additions and pricing. Okay. Now there is this enterprise edition which is $125 per user per month, correct? And it comes up with a lot of functionalities, a lot of features. Now it includes the features of developing and then doing a lot of stuff. Custom applications, see, custom apps can be developed, which means you can develop your own apps and all that stuff. Now, the point is that when a company is opting for an enterprise edition, everyone in the company does not need to have all the functionalities. True. So sometimes some people in the company will need all the functionalities of the enterprise edition. Some people might not need all functionalities, right? So in that case, what happens is you have the option of picking some license for your people, for the users, and you can save a bit of money on that. Got it? So usually a full featured license of enterprise edition, a full featured license is called the Salesforce license. For enterprise edition is going to cost you $125, right? But there are some other licenses also available which are not, which do not have the, or which do not have full functionality or all the features and all the functionalities of the enterprise edition. For example, just to give you an example, you will get to see a lot of other licenses later on. There is something called a platform license, and this will cost you only $25. What is this platform license? Platform license will give a user access to the custom apps only. Custom apps are the apps which the company has developed. So we were talking about it that Salesforce gives you the ability to design your own apps and customize them. So if your company has built an app, let's say you guys, your company has built an employee management app. I got the CRM app from Salesforce.com. I built the employee management app in my company in-house. Now, if there is a user, let's say there is an HR team, this user, if they do not want to access any of the CRM apps, they just want to access the custom apps, then I can buy a platform license for them. All right. So then these people will be able to access only the platform thing. Got it? So this way there are different licenses which are available. So the moment we start discussing about more things, features and functionalities, you will start keep understanding about licenses also. So there is a scope, even if the company has opted for an enterprise edition, there is a scope for the company to save a bit of money on the licenses if they feel that certain people do not need all the functionalities. Definitely, they'll have to see if that option is available for the kind of requirements that the person has. So if they feel that okay, certain people do not need all the functionalities, so they don't have to pay the entire amount of the enterprise edition for everyone, right? So that's how it's going to work, right? So after that enterprise edition, because right now it might be looking that okay, $125 into 10 users. So if there are 20 users, I'll be paying 125 into 20. No, there are certain users who will just be requiring certain access, right? For them you don't need to pay the full amount. Okay. Again, gradually when you start understanding about a few more functionalities, you will be able to understand the license, which all licenses are there and how they can be useful and all that, right?
Mhm.
Right now just wanted you to understand the concept of the license. All right. So that is it. That's what we have to discuss today. So we have talked about CRM, Salesforce, cloud computing, and I've talked about the different editions, and I've also given you an overview on the licenses. And your
Mm.
activity for the day is to set up a developer edition for yourself, right? So all that you have to do is just go ahead, set up a developer edition for yourself. Once you have created your developer edition, as I showed, this is the kind of login page you will land up into. This is the kind of environment you will land up into. Try clicking on wherever you want, or try exploring things a little. Spend some time exploring this software. Be a little more friendly with it. The way you do, remember, first time you created or logged in into Gmail, you never had to take a training to start using Gmail, right? The same way, when you created a login for Facebook, you never had to take a training to start using it. So just that's what I actually want you to do. I just want you to do the initial exploring of it. Try to navigate things from here and there. No problem if you even if you're doing a few mistakes. It's a free edition, so don't worry at all about it.
Yeah.
Explore a little, of the CRM or of this particular environment. And when we meet tomorrow, we are going to talk. So that will definitely be a discussion on this. But before that, I also want you to explore it a little.